Hello and welcome to Mystery Behind History. I know it's been quite a long time since we last met and I've been wanting to share a mystery with you, and from now on we'll be pretty regular and sharing all these mysterious stories that possibly happened in front of us and we didn't realize, or we just never knew about them, and which make the entire scenario so much more interesting to look at once we know those mysteries. Something interesting happened in the month of February and March in 2006 in the world of cricket. Something so significant that is still remembered today as if it happened yesterday. Something so significant that it changed the way cricket was viewed from then on, especially one-day cricket. Australia back then was a team that people were scared of. In fact, the talk was that if you want to see how good a nation you are in cricket, play a match against Australia. From 1995 to 2007, well, that was the case. That's how good they were. Because the ones who were not playing were better than many squads itself. That's how good Australia was back then. There was this series that they had to tour South Africa for 5 one-day internationals. Now, Australia was so good that home series, away series, it didn't really make a difference. They would win everything. But South Africa were hell-bent on changing that. They won the first ODI rather comfortably, 1-0 South Africa. Won the second ODI by 196 runs, got Australia all out under 100 and thrashed the Aussies, which came in with so much pride, 2-0 South Africa. But Australia minded wasn't a team that would, cern all this sort of an insult rather easily. They would come back. Now to win that series, Australia had to win the next 3 matches in a row. South Africa just had to win 1 out of the remaining 3. Australia give a good fight back and win the third ODI. As soon as the 4th ODI starts, the talk is that South Africa should comfortably win it. And eventually, they should comfortably win it as the match goes on. But Australia hold their nerve and win that match by 1 wicket with 5 balls remaining. That's how close it was. What if South Africa won that match? They would have won the series. But Australia held on and made that series 2-all. They squared it up. And that was something that could have brought out the best in the 5th ODI, and which it did. 5th ODI. We all possibly know, if I just, say the scorecards and stuff, you all will remember, oh yeah, that happened. But a few mysteries surrounding it is what you don't know, which I'm going to tell you today. We know the 5th ODI in Johannesburg produced a high-scoring thriller, didn't it? 434 batting first Australia, 164 Ricky Ponting, Gilchrist gets a 50, Simon Catich gets a 50. A remarkable batting performance, and 434 back then was a little tougher than climbing Mount Everest. In one-day cricket, that was what it was considered, because 300 was a big chase, 434 was a joke. It possibly couldn't have happened in that era, and it did. So maybe in the streets of Melbourne and Sydney, as soon as the first innings comes to an end, people may have started distributing sweets and stuff. That we have defeated South Africa, coming from behind, we did that remarkable thing. And that's what must have happened in that back then, after the first innings came to an end. Now reportedly, Gibbs, the South African opener, was drunk the previous night. And who knew, possibly, that even after being drunk the previous night, he would have become national hero the other day. But as soon as Australia finish their innings and are walking back, the South African team is obviously dejected. All of them sit down in the dressing room at Johannesburg, looking at the floor, saying, what have we done? We are embarrassing. We have embarrassed ourselves, embarrassed the nation of South Africa. How can we allow Australia to score 400 runs? After being 2-0 up in the series, first of all, we shouldn't have made it 2-all. And then allowing them to score 434, it's an embarrassment. That's what the entire, the mood and the setup in the South African dressing room was back then. They all were so pessimistic. Those pessimist thoughts started coming in. Should we even go out and bat? We may just get all out in 100. They may win by some 300 runs. And we would be a laughing stock in front of the entire cricketing world.
Jack Callis enters, and the first thing he says is, they're 15 runs short.
They had to score 450. They're fools, they just scored 434. The entire dressing room bursts out laughing. 434 and you're saying they're 15 runs short? I said, yeah, they're 15 runs short. It's an absolute road out there. It's so easy to bat. My goodness. Oh, embarrassing Australia. They left out so many runs. And all of a sudden there is a wave of positive energy in the South African dressing room. And what happens next? We all know. It's something that we possibly just feel that it happened yesterday. That's how significant, and that's how new it's in our hearts. Herschel Gibbs himself scores 170. Graham Smith scored 90. Mark Boucher scored that crucial 50. South Africa chased down 434 with 1 wicket remaining and with 1 ball remaining. It went right till the end. It was possibly one of the greatest ODI matches of all time, especially to do it against Australia. An Australian team of that era was remarkably remarkable. And that is what South Africa did. It was almost like a movie. You're 2-0 up, the hero's that close to the finishing line, then the villain comes back in, and then the hero does something so special and dramatically wins the race. And that is what South Africa did that day. And from then on, this entire mindset, we can score runs in ODI cricket, we can score, 250 may not be a sufficient total, go for 300, go for 350. And today it's gone to another level with England, the way they are batting. For them, I think the only score that's left for them is 500. They've already got till 498 as I'm talking. So that's the only thing that's left for them. That's how quickly it's moved on, but we have to remember that it all started back in 2006, where this entire idea of scoring runs so quickly in ODI cricket happened. As I'm talking right now, ODI cricket is going through a bit of a scrutiny, isn't it? We all know it is. Everybody has their own thoughts that, scrap ODI cricket from the cricketing schedule, only have Test cricket, only have T20 cricket. I believe no, don't scrap it. Get in series like this. Get in big teams playing against each other. ODI cricket has a lot of life in it because 50 overs is a time, there's so many emotions riding in 50 overs, and that's what happened between Australia and South Africa. Over those 5 games, every match, 50 overs, so many emotions up and down both sides. You have so much time to strategize, and at the same time it's not as big as a Test cricket game. You still have only 50 overs. So basically in 3.5 hours you need to restrict a side, which is not that easy. So ODI cricket has its own beauty, and let it stay there. Get in good series, get in good matches. Australia and South Africa could produce it back in 2006. Certainly teams can produce it in this era. It's just the mindset that needs to change, not the format. And that's what I believe, and on that note, I would like to end this episode of Mystery Behind History, and I hope you enjoyed how Herschel Gibbs, probably under a little bit of influence of alcohol, did something that nobody had ever imagined of. Thank you, and enjoy.